Chương trình này được bảo trợ bởi
Family Joy, tổ ấm y tế của mọi gia đình, 714 898 0765.
Hi, welcome back to the OC Health and Education Show on Little Saigon TV. I'm your host, Julie Yip. We're going to continue our conversation with Gina Clayton Tarvin, the president of the Ocean View School District. Before the commercial break, we had a great opportunity to learn about who she is, what her role are, and her ability to help our community as the president of the school board. And, Gina, I think it's such an important task that, you mentioned that when you're a parent and you're a teacher, you have all these insights to help the community. And you mentioned that, after the Texas shooting, you were able to take the feedback of the parents, listening to their concern, and really just put it into action. Yeah. And that's the main reason I invited you here. Because, when I heard about the shooting, your was one of the posts that actually was an action plan. It wasn't just about, we're sending condolences, which is important.
Yeah.
And we're sending prayers, which I believe in prayers. But there's only so much you can do, and so much you can get, and so much assurance you have as a family. But I think when I read your post about, we have this program that's implemented at Ocean View, and I said, wow, why aren't all the other school district members posting about it? Why aren't they telling us about it? Why are they not inviting families to have a forum to talk about and to get their input? So I really want to say thank you for encouraging us as parents to get more involved, for encouraging us as parents to reach out to our representative and knowing that our voices really matter. Thưa quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV, Julie muốn nhắc nhở quý vị, and Gina hôm nay cũng nhắc nhở quý vị đó là cái tiếng nói của mình á, là rất là mạnh. Lúc mà có cái news về cái Uvalde shooting ở Texas, Gina là một cái trong người mà đại diện cho học khu. Julie thấy đó là nói là không phải là mình gửi condolences hay mình pray cho gia đình, mà thiệt ra Gina có cái action plan làm sao mình thay đổi để cho cái người phụ huynh giống như Julie, lúc mà mình cho con đi học mình có cái sự an toàn. So Gina đó là nói đó là tại Gina là một người giáo viên cho school district, là cũng là một người mẹ, là một cái người đại diện cho học khu, mà nghe cái lời nói của cái người mẹ khác trong Ocean View thì mới làm cái action plan. Đây là kêu chỉ khóa cửa thôi, mà cái đó mình thấy là rất là đơn giản, mà chừng nào mình không có nhắc nhở học khu của mình, cái người đại diện của mình áp dụng cái phương pháp đó thì có thể mình cũng không có thấy mình cái an toàn. So I just was saying that, a simple solution, like just locking your doors, reminding teachers to lock their doors. I don't think sometimes we always try to look for the most complicated solution to a very complicated problem. But what I love about what you did was implementing something simple, something that everybody can do, and making teachers accountable and involved in assuring us as parents that we can feel safe at school. So what is your ability and your strategy to interact with the parents and the families that you represent?
Well, the thing is being a parent in the community gives me that kind of leg up, because I drop my son off at school in the morning at Hopeview there in Huntington Beach, and I talk with the parents, and I visit all of the other schools multiple times per year to make sure that I'm in connection with the families, with the teachers, with the children themselves. I think sometimes elected officials or politicians get disconnected. They get elected and they go, well, I'm going to look at what is my agenda, and they kind of lose track or sight of what they were really elected for. And when you're on a school board, what you're elected for is to safeguard the children, not just educate the children, not just make sure they have pencils and papers and books, but really to look at the most basic things. Are kids being fed at school?
Right.
Are they getting sustenance? Are they safe in their environment? If you think about it, Maslow's hierarchy, if you don't feel safe in your environment, you can't move through the levels and then therefore reach, intellectual abilities or, learning at the highest level.
Right.
If you're hungry, you can't learn. If you feel scared, you can't learn. So I really,
So you're really just addressing the foundational, kind of the prerequisite for learning. I'm a speech therapist, and when we teach kids, we always say it's prerequisite attending behavior.
Yes.
And I think that's exactly what you're doing. To me, you sound like a therapist.
Well, being a teacher, you kind of do everything. Your mom to kids that, your students become your kids. I don't know if you know this, but I think you probably do because you've worked in public schools.
Yes.
Teachers call their students their kids.
Right.
We call it, they're my kids because actually, not just because I feel it, but because, the education code literally says in parentis loco, kids are literally your legal children when they're in your charge. From the minute they walk out of their home, actually on their way to school, until they leave school and until they go into their door and shut, the door at home, they're your children. And I really take that to heart. My students, not just the students I teach in Cerritos, but all of the students in the Ocean View School District, they're my kids.
Aww.
So I want the parents that I represent to know that I will do anything for their kids. I will safeguard them. I will do what I have to do.
And that's what we heard at that shooting.
Yeah.
That teachers were really safeguarding those kids even to the end.
Yes.
So I just want to take a moment just to kind of recognize all of our teachers that really love our kids, that protect our kids, and that teach our kids. So thank you, Gina, for reminding us that you take this job very seriously and that we can feel some sense of security. And, like I said, I have a lot of criticism for what we call politicians.
Sure.
But I think what I'm hearing today is you're like, oh, no, it's not a political career for you.
No.
It's something you do for your children and the children's that you are responsible for during the day, but also your own that goes to that school district. Thưa quý vị, hôm nay Gina nhắc nhở với mình là cái công việc của Gina là không có phải là làm cái người politician, không phải vô cái chuyện công việc đó không, mà thiệt ra cái purpose của Gina là safeguard the children. Safeguard là làm sao mình phải giữ cái an toàn cho mấy em, với làm sao mấy em có khả năng học hành. Chừng nào mình không có thấy con mình không có khả năng không có ăn uống có sức khỏe thì đâu có sức học. Chừng nào con mình đi học mà không có cái sự an toàn thì em không có khả năng để cho mở rộng ra, để cho học hiểu nhiều thêm. Gina nói đó là cái công việc của Gina là as a teacher, là cái giáo viên á, là phải có cái trách nhiệm cho mỗi đứa con, mỗi đứa em mà tới học trong lớp của Gina. Là Gina nói mỗi em là giống như con của Gina. Thì lúc mà Gina dạy em, có em ở trường trong cái lớp đó là đối xử giống như con của Gina. Thì cái công việc của Gina as a teacher, là người giáo viên, hoặc as a school board member, là trước nhất là đây là giống như con của Gina, mà thêm nữa đây mình phải làm sao giữ cái an toàn cho mỗi em, với cho gia đình của mình thấy mình có cái an toàn thôi. Gina, I think that's a very important reminder. Not just for parents to say that, this is what we can do and that we can trust our teachers, but to maybe to remind some teachers who've kind of lost the heart of their work to remember that, this is their children. And, because I hear my kids, they say, Mom, when I go to school, my teachers don't like their job anymore. Or my teachers don't teach anymore. Or they're just doing these things. And it's hard for me to hear that from my kids, but it's also refreshing to hear that there's teachers like you who kind of restore the hope in us and the faith in us, that there's still good teachers out there. And not all teachers are created equal. And a teacher like yourself who says, I don't want to just be a teacher. I want to be leader to these teachers and represent them at your unions.
Yes.
Or represent them as a school board member. I just want to commend you for really willing to take the leadership roles. And I think being a leader is really hard. You get praise when everything, is well, and you get criticized when everything does not go well. So thank you for being strong, and thank you for having and maintaining the focus that our kids are the focus of your job, your career, and your service to the community.
Thank you. Thanks for recognizing that.
Thank you, Gina. Cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi chương trình Kiến thức y khoa gia đình và xã hội. Sau vòng quảng cáo, chúng tôi sẽ tiếp tục nói chuyện với Gina Clayton Tarvin from the President of Orange View School District. Cảm ơn quý vị khán giả của Little Saigon TV.